Hey, here we go, everyone. It is Wednesday morning, and it is time for the famous, world-famous, acclaimed, award-winning Scott and Steve show. How are we doing today? Jeremiah's with us today. How are you, Jeremiah?
A lot better than Steve right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Steve's MIA. I'm sure he's around. He'll be back, and I'm sure he's doing something very busy, very important, and I'm sure he'll get here as soon as he can.
That's what he tells us.
Have faith, young man. Don't be such a naysayer. But Steve, we wish you well. Do whatever you got to do.
He likes his dungeon of solitude.
Well, yeah, the police department is located in a wonderful, safe place on campus. If there's an issue down there, it's definitely going to be in a safe area. So go down there, check them out, say hello to police, and if you happen to see Steve, grab him, bring him on up, and say, Steve, let's go. Time to rock. But welcome, everyone. We want to get in there. There's a lot going on campus today, so I know we want to at least touch base on that. Jeremiah, we have a transfer fair going on today. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you got 10 to 1 downstairs in the student atrium bookstore hallway. Yeah, you can find out different ways that your Lakeland credits transfer over to 4-year programs and speak with many different colleges around the state of Ohio, like CSU, OU, I think Ohio State's in there. I'm just picking them at random. Kent's in there, and more.
All right, so a lot of colleges, essentially. Come down there, check them out, opportunity to evaluate what you're going to do, and learn about transferring and moving on. I know many students are in the gaze to do that. They want to move on after Lakeland and go on. So come down and check it out and learn how to transfer, and we wish you luck in that process. Do the job here first. Got midterms coming up here in another week and a half for most of you. So make sure you knock on those schools or knock on your books there and open them up and get ready for your midterms.
Or some of the people might have them today and tomorrow.
That's possible. Is that what you have?
No.
Okay.
My class, it's just all, papers, homework.
Projects, papers, that kind of stuff. All right, very good.
No test.
Okay. What class is that with no test?
New vision creation. Okay.
Don't tell me the instructor, but instructor for Jeremiah, hey, he's in here bragging about having no tests. We got to do something about that. Test this man. We want to know how knowledgeable he actually is. What do you think?
Say that to the business plan. That's 200 and something points at the end of the semester.
Business plan. All right, very good, very good. Now you're working several jobs and everything like that. How's that all going for you?
Going.
All right, very good.
Going.
All right. Now, tonight we have a basketball games, 2 of them. We have the women tipping off at 5:30 p.m., and the men tip off at 7:30, approximately 20 minutes after the end of the women's game. And we are playing Edison State Community College, the Chargers, and so that'll be a good game. Playoff implications for the teams are both our men's and women's team have a opportunity to host a first-round game of the regional playoffs. If we were to host, we would host next Tuesday night. So let's hope that they come out, take care of business tonight. They do have another home game, their last home game of the year, regular season home game of the year on Saturday. And then, but Tuesday would be the opportunity to participate in a playoff game. So come out, check them out, support them. It's free as always. Tonight we take on the Chargers from Edison State. Let's go out and root on those Lakers. So go Lakers.
You're not going to plug the whole thing, the Irish hot dog in that?
Irish hot dogs are always a fan favorite there. Most of the spectators out here and fans of the show, I'm sure, have heard of our Irish hot dogs. I encourage you strongly to come out and do that. I'm actually going to be making a run here real quick to boost up some of our concession stuff for sales for tonight. Anything you'd like me to get particular?
I'm not that picky, though.
Okay.
No, I can't think of anything.
All right, well, we'll have our regular stuff. We'll have some candy, some hot dogs, some sodas, some chips.
Well, Tuesday would be the one you want to sort of pep up.
Right. Well, the problem is we don't know if we're playing, when we're playing, where we're playing, who we're playing. So there's a lot of variables still out there. So it's difficult for me to, at this point, say, yeah, this is where we're going. But hopefully we'll be hosting something. Check out the Lakeland website to follow the Lakeland's team and see what they're going on. Conversely, our other teams, baseball, softball, and golf, they're getting ready. The spring trips are coming up here pretty quick. They're heading south and going to start. They'll be kicking off actual games in the case of baseball. Softball's already had some scrimmages. They've got a non-league game this weekend.
Was it Friday? I thought.
Yeah, yep. They're playing down at Ohio University Chillicothe, I believe. They're playing down there.
I think that sounds right.
Right. So
I seen the Facebook post.
Okay, so
yesterday.
So our softball is off. They're playing men's baseball. They'll kick off spring break. They'll leave March 9th, heading down to Florida, and then our golf team heads down to Georgia, and they'll be doing a training session down there for spring break week. So we want to wish all those teams best of luck. Come out, represent the college well, and good luck, and go Lakers there too. So very good, very good. Well, a lot's been going on, man. Anything else on campus you want to hit? Any other good news?
Oh, yeah, the coffee with the cops.
Coffee with the cops. Go ahead, share with us what's happening in that.
Shoot, what did Steve say? That they're just doing sort of the whole, intro thing, I thought?
The intro thing.
Sort of, that meet and greet.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna. Oh, that's right. They're gonna have the opportunity to go down and meet a lot of the new officers and officers in general to become acquainted with our police force. Is that what you're suggesting?
I think I don't remember what he said last Wednesday.
Okay.
I know it's in the CLI, but
CLI, I believe at noon.
Refreshments.
CLI at noon, light refreshments. You know what? You're down here for the transfer fair. Come down and check out the police as well. Have a good day. Make a day of it down here in the NFC. And while you're here, check out Breakers. Breakers, outstanding food, outstanding service. They're clearly the pizza company of the Scott and Steve show, as they typically are always providing us pizza throughout. So we really appreciate that.
So that's what you're going to get on the shirt, huh?
Oh, I never thought about that. That might be a good thing.
I just thought of that.
Yeah, you know what? I got to get back and chew at my daughter a bit, as we haven't seen anything on that since, November-ish, I want to say.
Was that December? I don't remember.
Sometime in that time frame. She got tied up. I will say, last week I plugged the Lady Stevenson Mustangs hockey. I went down to Baltimore, watched them play, and they won 4-3, an outstanding playoff game. And so they have made the Final Four for their conference, the UCHC. They will be traveling to Elmira. Well, they'll leave to Friday. Mm-hmm. They play Saturday, though, against William Smith College on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. So, hey, if you're interested in women's hockey, it's an outstanding thing. Come out and check it out. You can log on to their website, click the video icon, watch the games. Playoff game on Saturday night at 7 o'clock in Elmira. And that'll be the Stevenson Mustangs against William Smith College. And Stevenson, go Stevenson, and special kudos, good luck to the team and my daughter, of course, and up from there. And I hope to see him play on Sunday in the championship game, so we'll see. Nice. But, I'll be heading out there. So that's a lot of fun. Speaking of hockey, I guess we should at least mention it since they brought it up there, is the women's USA hockey team defeated Canada. And we had a little side bet going on. They defeated them in a shootout, which was outstanding game. I mean, it's
outstanding
so
for you, not outstanding for someone else.
Well, Mr. Gagliardi, he chose Canada, so we have to. That's not a good thing. But I tell you what an outstanding game. It was a fast game, a lot of hitting. It was just an exciting game to watch. And the shootout, the game-winning shot in the shootout, the girl that faked the shot, the deke to the left, deke to the right, and then stuck it in a backhand. It was a great goal, beautiful goal. Then the keeper there, who's mind you, she's 19, 20 years old, the keeper for USA, stonewalling them down the stretch there to earn the victory. So congratulations, Team USA. There were a lot of really great things that happened throughout the Olympics, and unfortunately, the viewing times weren't always the most convenient from the USA Eastern Standard Time Zone perspective. But a lot of great things happened there. Lindsey Vonn, winning a medal, being the oldest female to win a skiing medal. She took third, so congratulations to her. Sean Miller won a gold, or Sean Miller? Sean Miller's the coach of Arizona. I'll get to him in a bit.
I don't know.
The redheaded guy there.
I haven't watched any of the Olympics.
This guy.
Out.
You guys, Olympics. Olympics are where it's at. I love the Olympics. It's a great thing.
Someone said, what was it, Monday, the Russian team, the put together, hockey team and that
Russia.
ended up winning gold or something.
Yeah, well, all right. Here's that. That could be. You know, I didn't even follow the men's after the USA lost to Czech Republic. I'm like, I'm out. So that I'm not sure, but yeah, check that out real quick. But while we're speaking of the Soviet Union, though, as you know, we've talked about how they are the OR team, the Olympians from Russia, essentially. They had an agreement where they essentially, if they performed well, had no issues, that they may be able to carry their actual Russian flag for the Olympic exit, the closing ceremonies.
Yeah, they won gold.
They did win gold. All right, so congratulations to them in men's hockey. However, they had two athletes. They had two athletes who failed the drug test. And this is after everything that's gone on, which is why they were banned to begin with. They had two that still failed the drug test. And so as a result, they weren't able to carry the flag down the stretch. Now, what I don't understand is one of the athletes who failed the drug test was for curling. And I know that's one of Mr. Gagliardi's favorite sports to watch, but I guess I don't understand curling. I mean, you push the rock down, you move the brooms, and go. I'm not sure why you need a performance-enhancing drug for curling. I guess I'm missing that. Maybe that's just a technique part I don't understand, but from what I certainly see, it doesn't appear as though there's anything that's so strenuous that performance-enhancing drugs would be a requirement.
Picking it up and moving it over to the line to push it down?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm struggling to understand. I'm struggling to understand that, what happened there, why. Now, mind you, that I'm sure they'll appeal it and see it if, get retested and that kind of thing. You only do the initial reports, of course. So hopefully it's, a false test or something like that. I just struggle to understand why someone in a sport like that would need it. I mean, that'd be like saying, in bowling, for instance, performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know that that's a necessity. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to put it together. And that's not a knock on bowling. It's
like golf.
I would agree. Now if you're using it to rehab from injuries or something like that, I think that's a very different aspect. But to do it to enhance your performance when it's not a physically demanding activity, I guess I just struggle with the concept there. But so anyway, unfortunately, two Russian athletes tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. So they just can't get away from it. Too bad for the Soviet Union, and too bad for them. It's not. It's just tough. It's just tough.
We'll find out, for the next one, the Summer Games, how well that works out.
I bet you, I don't know for sure, but my guess is that the Soviet Union would still be banned. I mean, why would they not be? And it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Now, the Summer Games coming up, they're in China, is that right? Or Tokyo or somewhere like that? That's my understanding, is they're somewhere out there in that eastern area there. I'm purely guessing, of course, but I do believe that they're out in that direction. So Jeremiah's checking it out real quick.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Let's see.
Okay.
Where is
it's also brought to my attention a correction: the Soviet Union no longer exists; it's purely Russia. So my corrections and apologies to hopefully not offending the country of Russia. Tokyo. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 2020.
Yep, Tokyo. I said China, Tokyo. Okay, all right. Yeah. So all right. So
Paris in 2024.
Where is it in 2024?
Paris,
France. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Paris, France. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully they've figured out ISIS by then and the bombings and stuff, and because they've been under a lot of attacks throughout the last several years. So
whole Western Europe in a way.
Yeah, they have. So hopefully that is somehow resolved, and I know this is my idealistic part of me, but I hope that this Olympics help forge some newfound relationships with like North and South Korea and hopefully the USA in that standpoint, so that we can bring about a little bit more peace throughout the world, as opposed to the tensions which a lot of people feel.
Yeah, and less Twitter and less going to the media.
Twitter. But hey, that's a great lead into one of the stories I have, though. Twitter. Oh, my gosh. Pittsburgh Steelers, Sean Davis. Now, he is being sued. He is a safety for the Steelers. He essentially went on to social media and Snapchat, made a video, and made fun of a kid who's working at Chick-fil-A. Okay?
That's kind of pathetic.
Yeah, he essentially poked fun and made fun of the kids. Looked like he was 8, and that's why the lines are so long. He put some emojis on there with they're laughing at him and stuff. And I mean, come on, you're I don't want to say a professional athlete, though he is. You're an adult. You know what I mean? Having to go out and poke fun at a kid in a fast food place, it just is beyond me.
It would be hilarious if he actually had a brother and he's working fast food. That would be irony.
That would be.
Especially if everyone found out that.
Yeah. So what happened in this story is, so the kid is alleging, the family is alleging that he then got bullied at school because of this Snapchat thing that went out about him and alluded to him. So he was bullied at school as a result. So the family contacted him, let him know what was going on, and through the courts they said, look, what we want you to do is to issue an announcement, essentially condemning bullying, saying it's bad and that kind of thing, a public service announcement. And of course, he said no. Right? So his response was, I'll invite you and a couple friends to a football camp. You can hang out with me and I'll talk about bowling there and that kind of thing. So to which face they said, no, thank you. So now they're actually...
So go to a camp. So it's okay for you to go out to pretty much everyone and say, hey, you suck. Mm-hmm. But then, no, I'll do a private camp.
Right, come to a camp, and let's be honest, if he comes to a camp, what's going to happen there? He's going to have the press there saying, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing in there. It's a outside looking in, it appears though it would try to be something that would be beneficial to him as opposed to a public service announcement.
Or he's trying to get on his turf, which...
Right, exactly. So they said no, and so now there's actually a lawsuit going forward on how to do that. So that's just unbelievable, the stuff that goes on, and I
because that sort of falls under the line of cyberbullying.
Well, that's exactly what it falls under. So it's really an interesting concept there. What's going on,
especially
and how
because
far it went.
That's a really big thing nowadays.
Yes.
So the chances of that working out for him, of him trying to get scotch-free off of that,
right. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I tell you. Along those same lines, this is not a sport-related topic, but along those same lines, out in Rochester, New York, there's a rapper who just within the last few days put out a song that talked about shooting up schools, and so he has been charged he's been charged with terrorist acts, as said this way, not inciting a riot or inciting panic amongst the public, but a terrorist thing. I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent. But I find it ironic that he would be brought forward with that. Now, will they stick?
Terrorist thing, that's a stretch. Go with the panic in that. That would...
In my eyes, that would make more sense. And I'm not trying to make light of it or anything, but I just think that would make more sense. The other aspect of it, though, is, all right, and I am not in any way supporting what was put out there, saying it's right. I think it's wrong, despicable. I'm totally opposed to it. However, where does the line of freedom of speech and being able to be creative, that kind of thing, where does that fall in there? He's certainly not the first musician to ever put music out reflecting that type stuff, nor will he be the last. But the fact that it just came out and so close to everything that happened is really, I'm sure, what drew the attention. But I don't think those things will stick.
A few things that happened after too.
Correct. But I don't see the charges sticking as a result. But I find it very interesting that the headlines come out, and that's one of the things that's going on there. And I guess I would plead for some common sense too for some people. I mean, come on. If something like this is going on, do you really need to put music out? Do you really need to do that? Change your message would be my thought process.
I'm still saying school should offer class Common Sense 101.
I think a lot of people may fail that class. That could be a really difficult.
It's worth it.
I would agree. And in my mind, this is actually, just how about ethics, social morality, how to be a good person. Basic driving etiquette. Just basic living skills and how you'd want to be treated or treat others, what have you. I hate to say that, a class on that would probably be a wonderful thing for a lot of people if they would take it and implement it in their lives, and surely I'm not sitting here trying to toot my horn, because I know that I make a lot of mistakes every day, and then I know some people get ticked off at me for things I do and look at, so I would benefit from something like this as well. But it just is amazing to me that this stuff goes on a regular basis, and this is maybe I don't know. This is just crazy. I don't see it, but
it's true. And that, heck, when I was in high school, and that all 4 year, or was it the first not even month in high school, you get the thing at the end of the day of, hey, there was a thing written in the bathroom stall and that about shooting up. Yeah, but through my years of my high school, at least 4 threats a year,
right,
if not more.
Right. I was working in a school, a public school system, when Columbine happened, and that was, in my mind, in my memory, that was like the thing that kind of started it all, if you will. That was the biggest, most publicized school event. And I tell you what, we had in our area, not just our school, but in our area, there's several school districts in our area. There was so many threats after that. For the next months, we would have to, shut things down, close it down, have police come in, have dogs coming in, sniffing lockers and stuff. And then being part of that from an administrative aspect, that was a trying and difficult time, because it really took the focus away from what we wanted to do academically many times. And it's just a sad statement on an environment that would happen and people would respond that way.
And I know it sort of picked up at the other school, South, and that was right after that happened. It started. But yeah, through my years of high school, and that's what I got, the bomb threats, shooting threats.
Right.
Then the creative one of a guy.
When did you graduate high school?
08.
2008?
So yeah, from 2004 to 8 at North.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had at least like 4 threats against your life, a year.
Right.
If not more. So
it's crazy.
It took me, get to college to not have a threatening,
See how great Lakeland's been for you? You're safe. You can come in here and talk about whatever you want, and you don't feel threatened. That's outstanding.
Besides the other one of right over there across the street, house on the corner. Yeah, junior year, driving in, and that, pulling the science lot. You see a cop car there, then you see, the shotgun and all that. That's like, okay, this is, yeah. Then you later find out, well, the guy on the corner got in a fight with his wife and was running around the area with a machete.
Outstanding.
Yeah, good times.
East Lake North. That's the place to be, apparently. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it was an interesting high school year,
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah.
Speaking of conduct and behavior and all that kind of thing, how about the Virginia Tech Duke basketball game this week?
I didn't see it.
Okay, Virginia Tech upset Duke. This is at Virginia Tech. Duke was ranked 5th in the country, and my Hokies, I'm a Hokie fan. The Hokies beat them. Now, interesting thing happened in this game. So Grayson Allen, who's a guard for Duke, drew a foul that many thought was a very suspect call. All right, so as he's going up to the free throw line, the fans start yelling, "That's BS!" Right? They're chanting it out, screaming it, yelling it out. So Buzz Williams, the coach of Tech, he goes up to the loudspeaker, grabs the mic, and he tells all the fans to stop cussing. You just stop cussing, support the teams. No matter what happens, you support them, and stop cussing out there. So the head coach of Virginia Tech did that to his own crowd. I thought that was a very interesting phenomenon that happened that day. First, they're not the only school that gets into a chant along those lines, if not worse. But to have the head coach
happens
come
in professional sports.
oh, absolutely. But to have the college
Cleveland Brown
coach,
Stadium.
but to have the college coach though step up in there and literally grab the mic. While the game's in progress, well, it's stopped because we're getting ready to shoot free throws, grabs the mic there and tells the fans to knock it off to quit cussing. I was like, all right, well, somebody at least stood for something. Because you can get vilified as a coach, too, for doing something like that.
Did he get any backlash on that?
Not that I've seen. I mean, I will say this about Tech. They are, now, obviously, they've had situations, this one being one, and they've had a lot of issues on their campus in the past with shootings, etc. as well. But they have they preach and they support a pretty strong core value system, and that's in fact the pillars that they have on campus reflect all the different values that they have, and that's part of the tour. It's part of the things that you're supposed to know as a Hokie, It was actually really interesting to me that he would do that, and he wasn't vilified or anything like that. It was just game went on from there, and it was
people
done.
being respectful.
Well,
question mark.
I can't say that for sure. But
they did go to social media and throw him under the bus, so that's respectful.
That I'm aware of. Now, mind you, as I look at my phone, I'm looking out for all my Facebook and Twitter stuff on it. I didn't quite find any yet this morning. So with that, I don't know that something may have come out recently. But to my knowledge, he's got away with it. So I don't know. I just thought that was really just a very interesting topic, real interesting thing, and what, good for them. That's a big win for Tech too. A big win beating Duke. So that's great. That's great. We have another funky story going on. Is curious to your thought about this. You're aware that there was a transgender who won the second consecutive state wrestling championship in Texas. Okay.
Yeah, that was on Yahoo Monday morning.
Yes. Now, the boy, okay, he identifies as a boy right now. He's not had a change or anything as of yet. Was born a female. In Texas, they have women's wrestling. Okay, so he was born a female. He has been taking testosterone for the last year or two. Is asking to wrestle with boys because that's how he identifies and that kind of thing. And the state of Texas says absolutely not. You will wrestle as you were born, since you have not had a gender change or anything like that. And so, he's winning, state championships. And so the girls who are losing are upset because they don't feel it's right because he is taking testosterone and stuff, which obviously is a performance-enhancing drug, if you will. Now, the reason it's legal is because it's doctor-prescribed and that kind of thing. But it certainly gives an advantage from that perspective. So they're upset about that whole thing. The student is upset because he would like to wrestle against boys. He identifies as a boy. He's taking testosterone, so he would like to do that. And the state's is saying, no, that's not how we operate. So it's really interesting.
Is he a senior? Or?
That's a good question. I know it's the second one, so he's got to be a junior or senior, I would assume. But very, very interesting topic from that aspect. And it's funny as we talk about it, nationally. People have asked me, okay, well, how would the NJCA handle that? Our sport governing body and that kind of thing. And I can't speak specifics because every case has different nuances to it that you have to take into account. However, in the NJCA, we do recognize that if someone is taking testosterone prescribed by a physician, they've been doing it for a year or two, and they're in that mold, they would be allowed to, in that case, wrestle in the sport that they identify with. So it's been a real interesting topic out there and controversial. I know in the state of Texas that it's up and down right now, and it is hitting a national button as well. I know you're pulling the article there. What you seen? Anything exciting, very good, or what?
I'm just breezing through in that. So he's 18, so
it's got to be a senior.
Senior.
If he's 18, he's senior. Yeah. You got to be a senior if you're 18, I would assume.
I would hope.
Yeah, so it's second state championship. And, you know what? I know he is. You know why? Because he's been offered a wrestling scholarship at a small school next year. I forget, they didn't mention the school in the article I read, but so he's definitely a senior. I didn't think of that. But
So now, in a way, that's out of Texas's hand, but except the people being, angry about it.
right, and so yeah, it's just a real. I mean, I don't know. I think that if they identify and they're and the person is I mean taking steps to go about having a gender change or what have you. You recognize that. Where's the harm in that? I'm missing the boat there. Though I will say, and this is maybe hypocritical, is if it were going the other way, so a male going to a female to wrestle, let's say, taking the testosterone suppressing or estrogen or what have you. If I'm not sure that I would fully buy in yet, because I think this is where the case by case basis would look at. Because I mean, if someone is 6'2" and 180 pounds, as a wrestler, that's pretty cut up. But they're not going to say, well, I'm going to identify and take some of these prescriptions, but I'm now going to wrestle some of the women in that clique. I don't know if that's fair from a competitive standpoint. And so I do struggle with that aspect of it. Is what are we trying to do from a social aspect as well as competitive fairness as well? So I do see. I guess I'm conflicted in my own thought process as a result.
If they do something that's good to the fine line of something like that, of case by case, then it's going to have the weighing values,
right,
of what they their whole stance of weight, blah blah blah, all that.
Right.
That's going to play.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of variables to it, but in this case, with this particular person, I mean, they're taking the testosterone. The student wants to wrestle with the boys. I mean, what are we doing here? That doesn't make sense.
They feel like, oh well, in case he gets hurt and now we're going to get sued, you give him a waiver.
And honestly, you can get hurt walking down the street. Wrestling is a injury sport to begin with. So I hear what you're saying. I just don't think it's.
Well, I bet that's sort of the thing of within Texas, the whole state, and that they're sort of thinking in a way. It's like, hey, you got a legal department, make a waiver,
right.
Makes your life easier. If that's sort of a thought, hey,
right.
Piece of paper, notary,
done.
Yeah. No lawsuit coming.
Yeah, well, that's certainly an option that could have been taken, but as you said, it didn't, and now they're moving on. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any change from that. But I do know that this will obviously now hit. The NCAA and NJCA, they all look at these types of things as well, and this will be interesting to see how it moves forward. All right, let's take a break if we can right now. When we come back, though, we're going to have to talk about what's going on in the NCAA basketball scandal of the week. We'll have to make sure we get into that right away. So we'll come on back here, Scott and Steve Show. Have a good one.
been laying them all on you. Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? It's been a lovely season. It's been a hurricane here inside. I know it's time to assess the damage. I'm still too scared to open my eyes. I had my chance, I couldn't hold on to you. Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? Right down the line, I've been laying them all on you. Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? Right down the line, I've been laying them all on you. Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? Who am I gonna give my whiskey kisses to? I'm not asking, baby, will you love me in the morning? All I'm asking is, darling, can we still be friends? I'm afraid I might be falling faster than I can deny it. I've been holding on to this for so long, afraid to turn on, head on, all go wrong when life moves fast. Love don't last. Maybe we'll get lucky, but I don't think that's the case. Love's not just about the hand you dealt. I've been holding on to this for so long, afraid to turn on, head on, all go wrong when life moves fast. Love don't last. We should try to outrun it, wouldn't that be funny? Let's give love a run for its money, baby, you and me. Run for its money. I'm afraid I might be falling faster than I can deny it. I've been holding on to this for so long, afraid to turn on, head on, all go wrong when life moves fast. Love don't last. We should try to outrun it, wouldn't that be funny? Let's give love a run for its money, baby, you and me. A run for its money.
The area too well. So since our lovely car computer decided to go and say, hey, I'm not going to work today,
Well, I'm sure Steve's got something happening big time, but nothing. I don't want to panic anybody here. I'm sure we're all good, but he's probably got a meeting or something he had to attend, so I'm sure it's all good out.
I don't believe that.
Anyway, we want to welcome everyone back to the Scott and Steve Show. We are in our final 15-minute segment, and we saved the final 15 minutes to talk college basketball. It is just, everyone I'm sure is aware there's been a whole host of things happening over the past week. The biggest news rakers are obviously that, hey, they're suggesting that in college basketball there are some corrupt individuals involved. I don't know if that's a news shocker to anybody. What do you think?
I seen what was going on.
Yeah,
whole Louisville thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this past week it came out where the damning situation was Sean Miller, the coach at Arizona. He was supposedly found on tape. He was recorded as having a conversation with one of the agent organizations,
Yeah.
okay, and talking about giving one of his current players, $100,000 in exchange for him doing that. The student athlete, when he turns pro, would then go under that agency and be represented. So that way the agency would get their money back and then some from that standpoint. Really, really interesting. The player is DeAndre Ayton, and the question is that the coach, Sean Miller, he's not been suspended. He hasn't been put on administrative leave. He just isn't coaching the team right now. Okay. However, the player is able to play. Okay. And the interesting thing about all this is several players and coaches have been linked, several programs have been linked nationally to this. It's one of the things they've done, and the gentleman was the agent, was Christian Dawkins. One of the things that they found was a ledger where he had number of submissions in there where payments were made, or no, I shouldn't say payments were made, where payments are represented, meals, all those kind of things that were benefits to our to students, student athletes, with the idea that they would become clients of their company in the future. Obviously, that's illegal from an NCAA perspective. And of course, then they got talking about how, well, in basketball, it's not fair. They should get rid of the one and done rule, and that's a reason for it. And there's a whole host of issues out there that are surrounding this. And of course, the NCAA is getting they're corrupt, and that's why it's happening as well. And so, outside looking in, I guess I'll bounce off to you. Let's try to tackle it issue by issue first of all.
Well, it goes to the NCAA. They can't have a person at each and every school, because you go from like D1 all the ways down. That would be impossible.
Well,
the fun and have an agent at each one and watch every single thing.
Yes and no. And what I mean by that is an actual NCAA employee, you're correct. That could not happen. However, at every institution, you have an athletic director. You have, these 4 years, you have assistant athletic directors, associate athletic directors. You have compliance coordinators. Their job is the NCAA rules. So though they're not agents of the NCAA at that point, they are following the rules, enforcing the rules, interpretations of the NCAA. So I would say that they have the ability from that perspective.
And every once in a while, even with those guys, we all know that it might be a small minor thing that gets passed, but like, let's take Ohio State. They probably have 20 different sports or something like that, let's say.
Yeah, they have a lot,
if not more.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for them to actually and be on every road trip or that.
Exactly.
So,
you can't. Right. You can't.
Which it's fair enough, because
Back to our original conversation, we started this thing off. You can't legislate ethics. All right, you can have all the rules you want in the world.
That's what I was going to actually go back to.
Yeah, you can have all the rules you want in the world, but you can't legislate ethics. So if someone wants to break a rule, the rule is going to be broken. I mean, you can't legislate that. But
and you're going to find out maybe at some point
Well, correct, and that's this is very interesting. As I know that Arizona and the NCAA has taken a lot of heat because of Miller's handling and the student athletes' handlings thus far. So look at that. They've got a supposed tape conversation, and they've got a ledger which indicates that payments may have been made. So I guess the question becomes I guess I'm asking you, Jeremiah, your thought process. Is that enough to have someone suspended, removed, what have you, which is what obviously a lot of public are clamoring for?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
They had 100 and something like phone or recordings in that.
Correct.
In between all that.
Correct.
Which it's kind of hard, someone, to sort of mock the other person, how they sound and all that.
Right.
Which, the school's not completely seen or being able to see, all the recordings, all the evidence.
Right.
So I can see why at first they can't do that much. But if he's actually completely found guilty and not only they see the records and let's say he has documents, which more than likely he has something hidden someplace that will be found that's going to force the hand of it.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Is I don't believe that you can convict someone or punish someone before they've been tried in the U.S. And I know that's what everyone's clamoring for. Everyone wants, him fired, kids suspended, and everything like that. And I'm not saying that shouldn't actually be the ultimate answer. I'm saying we don't know. They've recently arrested in the fall some people who are found guilty of the money scams that we're talking about. Miller wasn't brought in that situation. Okay. Do they have proof that it actually happened? I don't know that to be fact or not, but it hasn't come out yet that there's absolute proof that it happened. As far as the tapes go, I don't know if it's clips. I don't know, but I would find it interesting that a head coach with that many years service would be dealing with someone who's a youngster at the agent company and dealing with that. Typically, if you're going to do that, you may have someone else, such as an assistant coach, who would be your fall guy or what have you. I don't know. From my perspective, I hope they find the truth. Whatever the truth is, I hope they find the truth. If he's guilty of doing this, hey, I have no problem, ban him, get him out, so on and so forth. I'm just saying let's not string him up and have a situation where he's tried and punished in the public before anything's ever researched or discovered. I think that's more of it. That you got to let the process play out, and I know that means time and patience and that kind of thing, and that's not something that a lot of people like to have
especially nowadays.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and
it's gotten a lot less. Exactly.
There's how many people. You hear stories every day of people who are accused of something and right away suspended, let go, what have you, and then it comes down on the road that it was maybe false or not supported or not found, not having enough evidence to find as guilty or responsible for whatever the charge might be. That person's life is done, or not done, but they've certainly have paid a heavy consequence, and it's not necessarily the case. And so because of that, I think people need to sit back a little bit and relax and let the situation play out. Let the investigation happen, because and if it's justified, I have full support. But let it happen. Don't I think that's really important piece from my end. And I think because there hasn't been a ton of evidence, like actual supporting full evidence, he's guilty, no questions asked. I think that's why he hasn't been arrested, because it'd be money laundering. I would think that's why he hasn't been arrested. I would also think that's why he hasn't been suspended or what have you, because the evidence hasn't been shown. Now, is there enough out there to make people raise their eyebrows and get suspicious? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean you did it. That doesn't mean you're guilty.
Plus, ASO might be going through stuff, too.
Exactly. And
none of us know that question.
Well, and that's exactly right. And I guess that's my point is we don't know. And so, and I hear these stories out there, he's guilty, did it. Maybe, but let's let the process find out. It would be my
We could always
suggestion.
use Steve to find out for us.
You know, he may be available on a per diem basis, a little rental thing there. I'm not sure. You'd have to talk to him individually, but I'm sure he would fetch a nice sum, slightly less than
No, he
what they're
won't
paying
do it.
now. But, so that's something that's out there, and it's very, very interesting, I find. But if, in fact, it's indeed to be factual, not only in that situation, but, we're talking programs across the country, major programs that are getting named, Duke, North Carolina. You name it, they're in this report. And so potentially that could have a major impact on college basketball. They continue to go back saying, well, the NCAA, the one and done rule, the NCAA, it's their fault and everything kind of thing. People, it's not an NCAA rule. All right, the NCAA does not say you must compete 1 year and then you can leave. That's an NBA rule. Professional basketball has set that in there. And why does the professional basketball have it? Because they don't have a farm system. All right, they're using them as a farm system. College football is there for 3 years from the NFL perspective. Why? Because they don't have a farm system, so they're using college sports as a farm system. All right,
Very valid.
I'm going to get on my soapbox. Here's what needs to happen. All right.
Okay.
Get rid of those rules altogether. You get out of high school, you want to try out for professional leagues, whatever, have at it. God bless you. Good luck. Let them go. Let it pay you, whatever. You don't have to go to school. Form the G League, D League, whatever you want to call it. Have it happen and have it be supportive. Let them go. And then bring college athletics back to what I feel it should be anyway, and that's about being a student athlete. Let the students who want to be here and get an education get their education and go from there. That would be my plea, is to spread it out, let them go. If they want to go have at it and see what happens. That would be my recommendation at this point with my limited base of knowledge. What do you think, man?
You're really throwing yourself a little short on that?
Well, you never know. Limited I thought was a stretch. Depends on who you talk to. Come on in, young man. We're here talking about different college stuff. Oh, Sharkhead. Are you a San Jose fan? Excellent. He put the shark on his head. Are you a San Jose fan? No comment from there?
No clue.
No clue. I wonder if I threw him when I said San Jose.
Maybe. You probably threw him off that deep end.
Wouldn't be the first time. All right. So
Did you miss that deep end?
Deep end, yeah, I got it. For Jaws, Dana.
You missed the whole thing about when I mentioned Ohio State with the transfer fair.
No, I caught it. I chose to ignore it because, well, if you want to go to Ohio State, I wish you luck. I think it's a prestigious institution.
Oh, my God. He's seen here being all polite about it.
Go Hokies. But,
No, I'm not saying going there. But yeah, I just decided.
Well, we don't have our Michigan fan here, so
that's true.
So, and I'm not either OSU or a Michigan fan. I'm fine with both. Anyway,
too bad I don't hit the hot button available.
There you go. All right, so we got transfer fair going on today, right? So check that out. It's from 10 to 1 down in the atrium.
10 to 2.
10 to 2. I'm sorry, down in the atrium. Go down and talk to a lot of colleges. Figured out transfer. Moving on.
Yeah, see about your 4-year credits, where they transfer, how many, and all that stuff, and. Yeah.
Barb Freet's probably a heavy player in that. Barb, outstanding lady who handles a lot of the transfer stuff. Oh. So if you see Barb, make sure you say hello to her. She's an outstanding employee here at Lakeland. But anyway, transfer fair, go check it out. Mm-hmm. Today, Coffee for Cops is at noon in the CLI. Check that out. Meet some of your fine staff and support them. Midterms are coming up, folks. Finish strong in this first half of the semester. That way you can go down and actually transfer and be successful. We want to make sure you do that. And
then Holden University Center Nights. I forgot about that.
Oh, what's going on there? Tell us quickly
Last
about that.
Last Wednesday of every month.
And what's that?
So 6 to 7, they have the whole informal general information session, learn about the partnership programs, all that.
So that's where you can go over and get a 4-year degree or possibly a master's degree without leaving Lakeland's campus. So check that out. Whole nights, Wednesdays. Tonight.
Wednesday night. Wednesday night of each month.
Come check it out there, Holden University Center. That's outstanding. I got to do one more shout out to the lady Stevenson Mustangs. Kicked some butt this weekend out in Elmira. Beat William Smith on Saturday, 7 o'clock. Check them out. And then, of course, finally, our Lakeland Lakers. They will be on tap tonight, 5:30 and 7:30 against Edison Community College. Saturday they play at 1 and 3 against Sinclair. And we hope next Tuesday we'll play in a playoff game. We'll see how things go. But good luck to them all. And go Lakers.